What if you could walk into any room and immediately connect with anyone? Not through magic or charisma alone, but through simple, scientifically proven actions that shape how people perceive you within seconds. This isn't about manipulation. It's about understanding the fundamental building blocks of human connection. Social psychology has uncovered specific, repeatable behaviors that dramatically increase likability and rapport. These are not abstract theories. They are practical, ethical tools you can use in your next conversation, meeting, or social encounter to build genuine affinity. Let's dive into the 5 psychological tricks that work on anyone, anywhere, every time. Our first trick is one of the most powerful and subtle tools in the social toolkit: mirroring body language. This is the unconscious mimicry of another person's posture, gestures, and expressions. When you subtly mirror someone, leaning in when they lean in, nodding when they nod, matching their speech pace, you are sending a primal, nonverbal signal that says, "I am like you, I am safe, we are in sync." Research shows this builds instant rapport and trust. It activates what neuroscientists call mirror neurons, the brain systems that help us understand and empathize with others. The key is subtlety. A direct imitation is creepy, but a gentle, delayed reflection of their open posture or hand gestures creates a powerful sense of alignment. In a negotiation, it can foster cooperation. On a date, it can create intimacy. In a job interview, it can make you feel like a natural fit. Start by simply paying attention. Notice if they speak with their hands, how they sit, their energy level. Then, allow your own body language to gently harmonize with theirs. You'll be amazed at how the dynamic shifts toward mutual comfort and understanding. The second trick is disarmingly simple, yet profoundly effective: using someone's name repeatedly. There is no sweeter sound to a person than their own name. When you use it in conversation, you are personalizing the interaction in a powerful way. It commands attention, shows respect, and makes the individual feel recognized as a unique person, not just a face in the crowd. The psychology behind this, often called the personalization effect, ties directly to our need for social validation. Hearing our name triggers a mini reward response in the brain, but frequency and context matter. Use it naturally at the beginning and end of a conversation or when making a key point. "You know, Sarah, that's an excellent perspective," or "Thank you for your help today, David." Avoid overuse, as it can feel like a cheap sales tactic. The goal is to weave their name into the dialogue with genuine warmth. This single act can transform a transactional exchange into a memorable, positive connection, making you stand out as someone who is attentive and personable. Now, let's explore a trick that seems completely counterintuitive: the Ben Franklin effect. The founding father famously noted that he would win over a difficult colleague not by doing them a favor, but by asking them for a small favor, like borrowing a rare book. Psychology is rooted in cognitive dissonance. Our brains strive for consistency between our actions and our beliefs. If I do a favor for you, my mind rationalizes, "I must like this person, otherwise why would I help them?" This small act of investment makes the other person more inclined to like you and help you again in the future. The application is straightforward. Ask for a small, reasonable favor that requires minimal effort: an opinion on a project, a recommendation for a good coffee place, or to pass the salt. The request should be easy to grant and impossible to refuse. This isn't about exploitation, it's about creating a small bond of cooperation. By granting your request, they have made an investment in the relationship, and people naturally value what they invest in. It's a powerful way to turn neutrality or mild resistance into a willing alliance. The fourth trick is the cornerstone of all meaningful interaction: active listening and validation. This goes far beyond just hearing words. It's about fully concentrating, understanding, responding, and then remembering what is said. The trick lies in the validation component, demonstrating that you not only hear but also acknowledge the feelings and perspective behind the words. Use phrases like, "It makes complete sense that you'd feel that way," or "I can see why that was so important to you." Employ techniques like paraphrasing. "So, what you're saying is," and asking open-ended questions that encourage deeper sharing. The psychology here taps into a profound human need to feel seen and understood. When people feel heard, they attribute likability and competence to the listener. They associate the positive feeling of being understood with your presence. In a world where everyone is waiting for their turn to speak, being the person who truly listens is a superpower. It disarms conflict, deepens bonds, and makes you the person others seek out and confide in. Our fifth trick involves careful and appropriate physicality, strategic touch. This is the most potent tool on the list and must be used with the highest degree of ethical caution and situational awareness. Research in what's known as compliance studies has shown that a light, brief touch on the shoulder or upper arm during an interaction can significantly increase positive feelings and agreement. This fleeting contact, often lasting less than a second, releases oxytocin, the bonding hormone, and creates a subconscious sense of connection and trust. In studies, waitstaff who lightly touched customers received larger tips. Colleagues were more likely to agree to requests. The rules are absolute. It must be extremely brief, culturally appropriate, context appropriate, and never intrusive. A half-second pat on the shoulder when thanking someone, or a light touch on the arm when sharing a laugh, can cement a positive feeling. Misapplied, it can be a catastrophic violation. Always err on the side of caution. When in doubt, don't. But when the context is right, a celebration, a heartfelt thank you, a moment of shared excitement, this micro-interaction can be the final ingredient that transforms a good impression into a great one. The psychology behind these tricks connects to the foundational principles of influence, most famously codified by Dr. Robert Cialdini. Mirroring and strategic touch relate to liking. We are persuaded by people we like and feel similar to. Using someone's name is a direct path to friendship and affiliation. The Ben Franklin effect is a masterclass in commitment and consistency. People align their beliefs with their actions. Active listening is a powerful engine for reciprocity. When you give someone the gift of true attention, they feel a subconscious pull to reciprocate the positive feeling toward you. Understanding these underlying principles, reciprocity, commitment and consistency, social proof, liking, authority, and scarcity, allows you to see these tricks not as isolated hacks, but as applications of a deeper understanding of human social behavior. Beyond these 5 core tricks, understanding the supporting psychological frameworks elevates them from simple tactics to a cohesive strategy for connection. A crucial underlying concept is nonverbal synchrony, which expands on mirroring. This isn't just about posture, it's about aligning with the rhythm of the conversation itself. Studies show that when people click, their physiological functions, like heart rate and breathing, can actually begin to synchronize. While you can't control this directly, you can foster it by matching the energy and tempo of the interaction. Is the person speaking quickly with excited gestures? Pick up your own pace. Are they calm and measured? Slow down your speech and movements. This dance of synchrony signals deep cognitive engagement and is a powerful subconscious driver of mutual liking and perceived understanding. Another high-level principle that amplifies these tricks is the concept of strategic self-disclosure. The principle of reciprocity dictates that when someone shares something personal with us, we feel a natural urge to reciprocate. You can ethically guide this by offering a small, appropriate piece of personal information first, a mild opinion, a shared experience, a light-hearted admission. This acts as a social gift that invites the other person to open up, creating a virtuous cycle of sharing that rapidly builds intimacy and trust. For example, after actively listening to a colleague's stressful week, you might say, "I completely understand that pressure. I had a project last month that kept me up at night figuring out the details." This balanced disclosure validates their experience and makes you more human and relatable, directly feeding the liking principle. Let's also address a common pitfall, the over-eagerness effect. In your enthusiasm to apply these techniques, there is a risk of coming across as performative or desperate for approval. The human brain is excellent at detecting incongruence. If you are mirroring someone's gestures, but your facial expression is blank, or you're using their name with a robotic frequency while your eyes dart around the room, you will create distrust, not rapport. The antidote is to focus on authentic curiosity. Genuine interest in another person will naturally guide you toward many of these behaviors. You'll lean in to hear them, mirroring. You'll remember their name because they matter, and you'll listen because you're truly engaged. The tricks are simply polished expressions of this innate curiosity. They work best when they are in service of a real desire to connect, not as a mechanical checklist. We must also consider the cultural and contextual lens. The effectiveness and appropriateness of these tactics vary widely. Strategic touch, for instance, can be warmly received in some cultures and considered a profound violation in others. Mirroring a superior's posture might be seen as disrespectful in a highly formal hierarchical setting. The use of first names requires careful judgment. In many professional and cultural contexts, using a title and surname until invited to do otherwise is the true path to respect and liking. The most sophisticated practitioners are cultural detectives. They observe first, adapt second, and apply third. They ask themselves, what are the norms here? What is the power dynamic? The universal principle is to respect local customs, showing that respect is in itself a powerful likability signal. To deepen the impact of active listening, incorporate the technique of labeling emotions. This advanced form of validation, drawn from negotiation psychology, involves identifying and calmly stating the emotion you perceive in the other person. For example, "It seems like you're really passionate about this," or "That sounds incredibly frustrating." By giving a name to the feeling, you demonstrate profound empathy. This can diffuse tension and make the other person feel profoundly understood on an emotional level, which is a direct shortcut to trust and liking. It shows you're listening not just to words, but to the human being behind them. Finally, we should discuss the long-term game of likability. These instant tricks are the spark, but sustaining positive relationships requires consistency and integrity. This is where Cialdini's principle of consistency works in your favor over time. If you consistently show up as a good listener, a respectful collaborator, and a genuine person, people will not only like you initially, but will also feel compelled to maintain that positive view of you. Their own self-narrative becomes, "I like and trust this person," and they will seek evidence to confirm that belief. Your ethical use of these tools at the outset builds a foundation for this lasting consistency. Conversely, if you use these techniques to create a false impression that later crumbles, the backlash will be severe. Authenticity, therefore, is not just ethical, it is strategic for enduring influence. Integrating these tricks into your daily life is a process of mindful practice. Begin with low-stakes interactions: the barista, a casual acquaintance, a new colleague. Practice active listening with a family member, focusing solely on understanding them without formulating your response. Experiment with subtly mirroring a friend's energy during a story. The goal is not perfection, but increased awareness. Over time, these behaviors will become integrated into your natural social repertoire. You'll find conversations flowing more smoothly, conflicts resolving with less friction, and new connections forming with greater ease. This isn't about becoming someone else. It's about unlocking the most effective, connected, and persuasive version of yourself that already exists. By combining the science of behavior with the art of human warmth, you equip yourself with the most powerful tool there is, the ability to build genuine bridges, one positive interaction at a time. It is impossible to overstate the importance of ethical boundaries. These tools are meant for building rapport, fostering cooperation, and creating positive relationships in both personal and professional settings. They are not for manipulation, deception, or coercion. The litmus test is intention. Are you using this to create a genuine win-win connection or to extract something at the other person's expense? Using these techniques unethically will eventually be perceived as inauthentic and will destroy trust. The goal is to become a more engaging, attentive, and effective communicator, not a puppet master. Let's walk through a practice scenario. Imagine you're meeting a new client, Alex. You start by using their name warmly upon introduction. As you sit, you notice Alex speaks deliberately and leans forward slightly. You subtly mirror this attentive posture. You employ active listening, asking about their core challenges and validating their concerns. That sounds like a complex situation, Alex. I can understand the pressure that creates. Later, you employ the Ben Franklin effect. Alex, you have great insight into this market. Could I send you a brief draft later for your quick reaction? At the end of the positive meeting, as you shake hands, you might add a brief, light touch with your left hand to their arm in a gesture of thanks. Each step, applied ethically and naturally, builds a layered sense of rapport, respect, and mutual liking. Mastering these psychological tricks is about practice and awareness. Start by focusing on one per day. Tomorrow, consciously try to use people's names. The next day, practice active listening in every conversation. These are skills that compound. They will make you a better friend, partner, leader, and colleague. You are not tricking people into liking a false version of you. You are using proven social mechanics to ensure your genuine, best self is seen, heard, and appreciated. In the end, these tricks simply remove the static that can interfere with human connection, allowing your authentic likability to shine through, loud and clear.